Welcome to my channel. I'm Sergio, and in this video I'm going to show you the differences between observable and different type of subjects from RxJs library. As a sandbox for this demo I'm going to use Angular, since RxJs is already part of this framework. And let's go ahead and create an observable and see what are its limitations. So I'm going to create an observable from scratch by making use of observable class from RxJs. And here goes our callback where our subscriber is located, of type subscriber, and the type of the data which will be streamed through this observable will be string. And in order to be able to stream the data later with the subscriber, I have to save it in a class property. Let's call it also subscriber, of type subscriber, our type string, and initially it's undefined. So now we actually can subscribe to our observable. We should receive our data, which is of type string, and let's just output the data in a console. Let's say first subscription data. This is the data, and once we have the subscription we can actually push the data using our subscriber. But first of all we have to save the subscriber in our property. So this subscriber equal with our subscriber, and now using this subscriber we can stream the data. Next, and here goes like first set of data. And I expect to see in the console first subscription data, it's first set of data. And what we have in here, first subscription data, it's first set of data. Everything works as expected. Now, what happens if I'll have two subscriptions? Will it work or not? Let's say this is the second one. Some of you might expect to see first subscription data, it's this one, and second subscription data is this one. But in reality there will be only the second one. So this is first limitation of observable. It accepts, well actually the data is streamed only to the last subscription, in this case to the second one. What happens if I'll have a new subscription right after the data was already streamed by the observable? Let's say this is the third one. Will it receive the data or no? No, it stays the second one. Let me stream the new set of data, which let's say is the second set of data. Let's see who will receive from these subscriptions the data, first, second, or the third one. So the second one received only the first set of data when this one was streamed, but when the next one was streamed, only the last subscription, the third one, received the second set of data. So these are two main limitations of the observable. First of all, you cannot receive the previous data, so this one cannot receive the previous data. And the second limitation is that once the data is streamed, only the last subscription receives the data, not all of the subscriptions received the same data. So how to solve this issue? For this, in RxJs there's a new type called subject, and let's create a new subject, and the main difference between subject and observable is that using the same subject you can stream the data and subscribe to the data to receive the data streamed by the same subject. So you don't need this subscriber in here, which means you can use this subject to subscribe exactly the same way we did for the observable. And here will come the data, and the type of the data, by the way, should be specified here. This also, it's a generic type. It comes also a string, and for us here it's a string. And let's also put the data for the subject. Let's say subject 1, and here will come the data. And let's subscribe once again. And after having two subscriptions, let's stream the data using our subject. Next, let's say first set of data for the subject, and we can see that the first issue, which is there for the observable, it's solved by the subject. So all the subscriptions receive the data, not only the last one, as it works for the observables. But what happens if I'll try to subscribe once again after the data was streamed? So subject 3, let's see if the second issue of the observable is still in place. New subscription is not receiving the previous value, which was streamed by the subject. But if we'll try to stream another set of data, let's say the second set of data for the subject, all of them first, second, and the third subscription should receive this one. So first of all, these two, first and the second, received only the first set of data, and after the second set was streamed, all three of them did receive this new set of data. So how to solve this issue that the new subscription should receive the previous data? For this thing, there's a behavior subject, a new type. Let's create a behavior subject. And as a parameter, it accepts the initial data, which will be streamed to all the subscriptions if there are no data streamed yet by the behavior subject. So let's call this initial data. And let's create two subscribers. BehaviourSubject. Yeah, this one also, by the way, it's a generic type, and here goes the type of the data which will be streamed by this behavior subject. And here goes our callback, which will be triggered once this thing will receive the data. And here's the data, it's of type string, and let's output this data in our console. And the BS first subscription for the BS1 data, it's data. And let's do the same once again to see if we receive the data twice, for the first subscription and for the second subscription. So initially it should receive initial data. As you can see, it's in place. What if I'll try to stream the data using behavior subject? Let's say first data streamed by behavior subject. So as you can see, initially they both received initial data, and when a new data was streamed, they both received the fresh data. What if right now I'll try to subscribe once again to the same subject? Oh yeah, you see, it receives the last data. It received the last data which was streamed through this behavior subject, which means both limitations of the observable, receiving the last data and receiving data by all the subscriptions, is solved by the behavior subject. But here's one more problem. What if I'd like to receive by the new subscription, by the last subscription, not only the previous data but all of the data, even the initial data? How we solve this issue? Or let's say if I'm streaming twice in here, this will be the second. As you can see, in here we received first subscription by the first two, and the third one was registered and we streamed, they all received second data. So the third one, as you can see, receives only the last data streamed by the behavior subject, not an older one or even the initial data. So how to solve this issue? For this purpose, in RxJs, there's another type of subject called a ReplaySubject. Let's call it RS and create a new type, ReplaySubject. ReplaySubject. Also, it's a generic type, by the way, type of the data which will be streamed. And in here, the parameter should be the buffer, which it's the count of the messages should be streamed to all the new subscriptions. So which means, let's first of all create subscriptions. We'll subscribe to this one, and let's see what data we receive. String, output the data in the console. Let's say this is rs1 data. Here comes the data. And this is ReplaySubject2 data. And initially, as you can see, we don't see anything because we didn't stream any data yet. Let's stream the data right now by this ReplaySubject. Next, and will be first set of data for the ReplaySubject. And as you can see, they both received the latest data, the last one. What if I'll try to stream a few more times? So this is the first, this is the second, this is the third. So as you can see, this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. What if right now I'll have the third subscription trying to receive the data from the ReplaySubject? Let's say this is the third subscription. As you can see, my buffer says that I have to receive two set of data, the last two set of data, which in this case will be these two. Let's see if it works like that. rs3 should receive second and the third. So rs1, rs2 first, rs1, rs2 second, rs1, rs2 and rs3, well, rs1 and rs2 will receive the third one, and rs3 and rs3 once again the second and the third. Not only the last one as it was for the behavior subject, but even some set of data before this one. So here we can specify how many data in the past we want to receive from the behavior subject. Let's increase it to 3. In this case, rs3 data should receive all 3 of them. As you can see, rs3 received all 3 of them. So these are the main differences between observable subject, behavior subject, and ReplaySubject. Hope everything is clear. If you have any comments, any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Bye.